We're talking about the signal and connected to the signal. What does that mean? So the signal, I got a bad marker. What is the signal? So the signal is basically just pure energy. Signal is pure energy. What it feels like is when you wake up and get out of bed and no one has to tell you what to do. No one has to get you going. You're inspired to accomplish your goal and you have a clear direction. Think of a time in your life where you woke up and you were excited to do something or accomplish something, or you woke up and you already had your mind focused on a certain goal to accomplish. That's when the signal is strong. It's when it's like something deep inside of you inspires you to go get something or do something or gives you a reason to wake up. And sometimes it's stronger than others, but that's what the signal is. It's that it's just pure energy. It's not good or bad, but it's just there for everybody. It it all depends on how you use that pure energy. So so the signal is the divine spark within all of us that everyone has access to. But what stops us from connecting to that divine spark, to that source that drives everything on earth? And what stops us is fear. Fear is the root of everything. That's what disconnects us from what really inspires us, and that's how people end up getting depressed. So this is what we deal with. So this is you. This is you and me. Put the body here. Put my artistry to the test. So within all of us, we're born with a what we might call a divine spark, and that's that flame that's deep inside of us. That's deep inside your chest. That's where inspiration comes from. But what happened is over time, that spark can get dull. We all have our own bubble that we live in, which is our ego. And in our own bubble, we may deal with different insecurities, or different fears. That's what we wake up with every day, and it's just a part of being a human, being dealing with insecurities and fears. So there's nothing wrong with that, but that is one of the small things that drain us and distract us from that divine spark, that signal that speaks to us. Outside of our initial bubble, we have another bubble of friends and family. In this bubble, this is where we have to deal with opinions, I would even say like social media comes in here. You got opinions, social media, distractions. And so, once again, this is pulling our energy away. when we start taking these things into account. Outside of that bubble, still, you have an even larger bubble, and this is society. Society, or we can say culture. Where we deal with even more things like indoctrination or different belief systems that people are stuck in. We'll say belief systems. What you believe is true about the world. And even social media even extends out here on a bigger scale. Social media, you got propaganda. You got disinformation. So all these things pull our energy away from that divine spark. So that person you may wake up and one day you're focused on a certain goal, or or you're inspired to do something or accomplish something. That's the signal. That's that strong signal. But then over time, you may talk to someone about that idea or that passion of yours, and if you're not careful, you'll start taking other people's opinions. You can get on social media and start seeing all these other things that distract you from here. Propaganda, indoctrination, different belief systems from our society and culture, trying to control the way you think. And over time, all those things, it dulls that divine spark. And when this dulls out, that's when people start dealing with depression, second guessing themselves, different insecurities, fears. And fear is the root to all of this. It's the root to other people's negative opinions, to different indoctrinations. Because everything is about control, and everyone's trying to control different religions. A lot of them are built off trying to control people and the way they think and the way they believe. And a lot of it is sold to people based on fear of the afterlife, fear of death, fear of losing this, fear of losing that. At the end of the day, how can we overcome this? Because at the end of the day, we got to get back to that signal to accomplish anything, because that's the source of pure energy. So how can we get back to that source of pure energy? Well, it's not a one-time thing, but it takes building the right habits and the right mindset. 3 ways in particular that helps me reconnect to source, that helps me strengthen my signal. The number 1 thing is stillness. Stillness, and this can say meditation, but some people kind of get lost in the word meditation. That doesn't necessarily mean you're sitting there humming on, which you can do that as well, but it's more about taking time for quietness and time for stillness, and to be still, to give your time, your body to settle, to block out all distractions. And stillness kind of goes hand in hand with the second thing, which is reflection. Through stillness and reflection, we're able to take time to be still, to stop everything, and to actually reflect on what we're going through and where we are. whether what happened that day or where we are in our lives. Just taking that time to reflect. And one of the great ways to reflect is through journaling. And this is something I'm trying to get better at myself. All these things are things that I'm working on currently. Um, but through journaling and writing, you're able to. It helps you reflect on what you're doing, where you're at, and just helps you kind of hold yourself accountable. And even writing down your different values, writing down your values, writing down writing down what you believe in. That way you can always go back to that and remind yourself to keep moving forward. The third thing is going to be affirmations, and that's just positive self-talk, speaking to yourself in a healthy way, um, speaking those words that you plan to do, of what you plan to do, speaking things into existence. It's something very important to do every day. And like I said, once again, these are all things that I'm learning to be more consistent with. But through through these three habits, it's how we connect back to that signal. That's how we light that fire. That's a bad flame, but yeah, that's the best way to light that fire, light that flame within us. So yeah, that's a flame. And so that's what the signal is. When I talk about the signal on this channel, it's always talking about getting back to that pure energy that drives us, and not listening to the outside noise. Getting rid of all, stripping away our fears, stripping away our indoctrination, and all the negative mindsets and thoughts that hold us back. And a lot of times, the mindsets that come from other people that may not, it may be for them, but it might not be for you. So I can't tell you what your signal speaks to. All I can tell you is how to connect to it, or suggest how to connect to it. And I know three of the best ways is through stillness, mindfulness, uh, reflection, taking some time to reflect on uh, everything, reflect on your mindset, your goals, where you are in life. And third, uh, through positive self-talk and through affirmations. So once again, man, connect to the signal, strip away your fears, and that's what Sunshine TV Signal Source is about.